I really believe that we can write our way into our future. You know, when I was 21 years of age, I first started a job as a waitress. And when I got engaged, I was like, I never, ever want to do that again. I kind of do it as a mom, but I never wanted to do it as a job. Then I went from that to accounting. Can you imagine me in an accounting office counting money? It was like painful. It was so stressful. It was so meticulous. I hated it. And I would come home every single day from work and John would say, you are so grumpy. Why don't you figure out what you would love to do? And I said, because I'm not qualified to do what I would love to do. Hey, it doesn't matter what you're qualified to do. You know, God will actually seed you with desires, seed you with hopes, seed you with things that kind of feel bigger than you could ever be. He seeds you with those things because he is the author and he is the finisher. And so I did something really scary. I sat down with my journal and I began to put pen to paper and write down the different things, just different elements of things I'd like to do. I'd like to travel. I'd like to TV produce. I'd love to be a makeup artist. I want to be a mom. I want to skydive. I haven't done that one yet. I am okay with that. I would love to scuba dive. I want to own a motorcycle. I want to preach the gospel. I want to write books. I wrote all of these things down, and I'm going to tell you, every single thing I wrote, I heard the enemy try to fight me and say, you can't do that. Nobody in your family has done that. You don't have the experience. You don't have the connections. You don't have anything. Well, that is true. I had none of those things. But I wasn't pulling on what I could provide. I was pulling on what God could provide. And he was daring me to dream. And not just daydream. He was daring me to dreamscape, to write things down, to write that vision and make it plain so that I would be able to run with it. You know, it was crazy. As soon as I wrote those things down, then things started to fall in line. I remember I got a phone call and they said, hey, we're starting a television network and we need a makeup artist. And the only person we can think of is you. And I said, well, that's interesting because I do makeup. And they said, well, we're going to pay for you to go to school in addition to your training that you already have. It was crazy. And I knew, as soon as I knew, I was like, that's on my list. Everything I had written, I had done over the course of the next 5 years. And then you know what I did? I made another list. God wants to take you from where you are to where he's calling you to be, but he needs you to be intentional where you are. He needs you to be faithful here, and he needs you to dream there. He needs you to write things down and then put it into his hands and understand that he can take care of that. You give him those things and say, I believe you're my connection, you're my networker, you're my door opener. Go ahead and dare to dream. Go ahead and write down. Go ahead and be creative. Circle around those things in prayer. Speak them out in faith and entrust them to God. And it will be just a little while before you start to see those pieces come together.